I'm Josh.
And I'm Jen. Welcome to the Gospel Shaped Family Podcast.
Each episode brings biblical wisdom and practical conversations on parenting, marriage, and family. And we discuss how to disciple the next generation with a biblical worldview.
Whether you're raising children, shepherding a church, or longing to build a legacy of faith in your home, this podcast is for you.
Join us as we explore how to shape hearts, homes, and churches around the gospel, one conversation at a time.
Hey friends, welcome back to the Gospel Shaped Family Podcast.
We have a couple fun episodes coming your way here.
Yeah,
moving into
next couple.
The Valentine's season.
Valentine's Day. I love Valentine's Day.
Couple weeks off yet, but we figured it's about time to crack the marriage seal, the dating seal, and some of the conversations.
Crack the code on all the things the kids are thinking about now.
Yeah. Did they do anything for you in school when it led up to Valentine's? Like I was thinking back, I was thinking like, you know, we all like exchange Valentine's cards and stuff, and that kind of like starts to fuel things for kids. But I was thinking back in my high school, they like made it possible that we could buy roses.
I was gonna say,
Did they do that for you too?
The rose thing in high school was like $1 or maybe $5.
Yeah, like at school you could do it.
At school, how did they supply this? And was this the role of the public school?
And then they would deliver them in class. And if you were a loser, you got no roses, and you're like, oh.
You're like, sad. I would always, though, talk to my friends, you know, like I was never expecting roses from a boy, but I would always be like,
you guys cheated the system?
Yeah, the girls do stuff like that for each other.
I didn't know that.
Think about our girls. If Kate was in public high school, which she's not, and there was like a way to send your friends stuff, you know she'd be there buying that for her friends and writing.
I bet a bunch of people bought them for themselves now that you say that. We're like,
look at that. You think they did?
Probably.
Somebody who's like super narcissistic and like worried about their reputation.
Man.
Because your high school reputation is everything. Nothing.
Well, that was back in our day.
That was in our day. I don't know what they do nowadays in the
school system. Well, it's all over. Maybe like we went social
to bougie schools.
Yeah,
that
right.
Provided live roses for the kids.
Right. Well, I just know with our kids and all the stuff leading up to Valentine's Day, all the encouragements to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend and all this stuff in the media. It's kind of like it puts it front and center. And there's a lot of pressure today when you get into certain groups. Like if you don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend,
it's just normal. Like, oh, you should have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or it just kind of plants the seeds. And I think depending on what kind of circles you're in, or even it couldn't even be the whole circle. It could be just like you have a couple, people in your friend group who are this is on the brain, and there you go.
There you go. Yes. So we're talking about when children have crushes and how we respond to that attraction in a God-honoring way.
Yeah, because inevitably your kids are all going to get crushes. They're all, whether they talk about it or not, right? Because some kids are really chatty, and they will talk about all the things, and then some will just not say anything, and before you know it, they're sending roses to random kids at school.
Yeah. I love crush, orange crush. Is that what we're talking about?
I'm not a crush person. I'm not really a big...
When we say crush, what do
we mean?
That might not be the lingo that our kids use today, but we all know what we mean by it.
We say crushes.
Yeah, but what, like define the term.
So when we define crushes, we would talk about a strong attraction to another person. So it's like the start of being attracted to another person, and that, eventually, if it played out right, if the crush happened in our young people who were of marrying age, it would play out eventually to the end game would be getting married. So a lot of times we see that crushes pop up, in those early elementary years, sometime between like maybe 2nd and 5th grade, 6th grade, depending on, I feel like girls are a little bit more like, ooh, woo,
Yeah, like all the little the whispers start in the girl groups, and then the giggles, and they look over at the boys.
The boys don't catch on for a long time. And I think that as time goes by, earlier and earlier is the new norm, which I don't know. Like, I was really trying to think about how old was I? Like, could I remember when I heard kids talking about having crushes in school? And for me, I think it was around like 4th grade.
That's when I've seen it go from like, it's like so I was a PE teacher for a year. They called me Mr. Mo. I was in an urban school, and they couldn't say Mulville, so they called me Mr. Mo.
They were so cute.
But it was like the middle of the 4th grade year. It was like something clicked for the kids, and the girls especially started to care a little bit more about what they wore and how they looked. And boys still had all bedhead and didn't care what they're showing up in school. It was like that middle of the 4th grade year, and then there was, the boys were following, but the girls, that was about what happened back then.
Yeah, totally. Well, why don't you share a little bit how we've navigated crushes with our own kids? Because we've definitely navigated our kids walking through this. So
what does that look like? Yeah, so we always want the Bible to inform how we function. And of course, the Bible doesn't specifically utilize this terminology, but in the Song of Solomon, it talks about do not awaken love until the right time. And I think that's a real helpful guiding principle for us with our kids. So that means essentially if there's a right time, there's also a wrong time, and there's also a time. And so we want to not awaken love until it can be acted upon, because it starts kind of this God-designed process in our mind and in our body that if we can't bring it to fruition, it can create all kinds of issues. So for us with crushes, as far as acting upon that, if that's in those early years, like we said, especially the elementary years, even in the middle school years, marriage is not obviously in the future. And so we have discussions about it, but there's no action from a dating standpoint. And so we want not to awaken love. We want to keep that quiet in the sense of any action upon that. And of course, in that, we talk about, there's a lot of conversation with our kids, just lots of conversations in different places and ways. It just becomes just a normal thing that we talk about. And we want to teach the biblical principles of marriage, why marriage, what it is, the roles of a husband and wife in marriage. And those, of course, begin to help children discern who to pursue when that time comes. And we'll even have, we've had conversations with our kids a lot of times about, what do you like about this person? Or why do you think they would make a good husband or wife? And let's help them discern some of the qualities. And then it becomes a two-way conversation about, are there any red flags there? And what would we want to be considering in the future? And that we often will point out certain families or certain adults or certain individuals that we think those are the kinds of people you would want, characteristics you would want to look for in a future spouse. Yeah, we were talking about this in the car. I was talking with the girls about, like, what is it about this person that do you think that they would be a good husband someday? Do you think that he would be a good father someday? Like, what do you see right now? What do you see in their family? And very insightful from my teenage and preteen daughter. Just insightful observations about young men. Like, what do you think they would be like when they're older? What do you think? Do they seem like they would be, have the character for those things? We have had those conversations even today. Even today in the car. That's good. Yes. Yep. And that's helpful because there's nothing wrong with crushes. It's just, God's kind of put it in people's hearts that it's just kind of like, it's like clockwork, right? Like, it's like clockwork. Boom. But it's a great time to start allowing your young people to think critically about who their future spouse will be.
And it's just one of those things.
We're going to do what's called the Bible in 365, where we are going to invite you to read through the entire Bible in 365 days in 1 year. The one I love the most is by a guy named Robert Murray McCheyenne. He created a Bible reading plan that splits up readings in the Old and the New Testament every day. A lot of readings will start in Genesis, and you don't get into the New Testament until like 2/3 of the way through the year. I like this one because you get Old and New every day. So consider the Bible in 365. Now back to the show. All right, well, we're going to take a moment and pause and shift to a segment called Favorite Things.
Favorite Things, yay! All right, favorite things, Josh. Okay, it's almost Valentine's Day. And in Minnesota, I would call this like the deep midwinter, wouldn't you? It's like midway through winter. And you're kind of like getting stir crazy and you're not outside a lot. But at the Mulvales, one of our favorite things to do at this time of year is we just like double down on the cozy factor and we do a lot of puzzles, don't we?
Tons.
So we don't have a huge so in the Midwest, depending on where you're listening to, everybody has like a basement. Most of our friends have like finished basements with like rec rooms and all sorts of space. We don't have that. We have like our living room and our dining room, but we always have like
we have a basement. It's just like our house was built in the late 1800s, so it's not like a hangout basement.
It's not a hangout basement. Our basement is like got stone walls and it's cold down there in the winter. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, I like an old basement, but you're not hanging out down there. Anyways,
just keep going.
So we cozy up and let's do a podcast about the Mulvales basement. We do puzzles. So we just love this. So I got this like puzzle mat. Basically, here's where I was going with that is that we don't have like a separate place. Like I don't have some fancy puzzle table, but we just like cozy up, dining room table, do puzzles together, pop on an audiobook or some sort of like musical soundtrack that you're trying to like learn and go for it. So I got like this puzzle mat because we do all our puzzles like at the dining room table. We eat dinner there every single night and, breakfast and lunch. Puzzle it up in the afternoon and in the evening, and then you can like roll it up and put it away so you can actually use your space. What's your puzzle preference, Josh?
I'm good for about 100-piece puzzle.
One.
It's like a kid's puzzle.
Tell the truth.
A 500-piece is my preferred number.
500 is Josh's preferred number.
1,000 is too small, and it takes too much brain power and work. If I'm coming to a puzzle
to relax,
I think all day long, and then if I have to think hard for like it's too much. Yeah. I'll just melt on the floor. So I need like a fun, fairly easy puzzle that I can like see progress happening without like wanting to swear at the yes.
Too many.
Yes. So I want to be able to be done with it in like a couple hours or a few days. And the funny thing is with our kids, you like do the edges.
And
we do the edges
the problem
first.
with the 500-piecer.
And then if you walk away, you come back and it's
done.
It's like the kids have been like, bam, 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 bam. And you're like, okay.
I had a puzzle. Oh, go ahead.
It pulls everybody together.
Everybody's together. I had a puzzle last week that I struggled over, this like landscape scene. I mean, I put in half a day on Sunday on the puzzle. I could not get it. And then I was like, okay, kids, let's make it happen. And then they all came over and they finished it in like
half an hour. That's great. And then you're sitting around the puzzle
all together
because you're just there like doing it. Great opportunities for conversation.
So much conversation.
Talking about crushes or whatever.
Drinking hot cocoa and just cozy around the puzzle. So that's been our favorite thing lately. I would say buy yourself a puzzle. It sounds like a random family activity, but it's like a winner on so many levels.
Are you getting to be an old lady? Is that an old lady?
See, I always thought old people did puzzles. I don't know. Is this old? It's like they show those. I saw this thing online that was like this is how old people were in movies. You know, when I was a kid, and they looked like, it was that movie Cocoon. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember anything about it, but I remember the title.
Retired in the movie, and they were actually, the actors were like 42, you know. It was very interesting. No, I'm not old. This is a fun family.
Good, okay. Well, just checking.
Even if you did say I was old, I'd be like, cool. I'm cool with that. Anyways, all right. That was it.
Puzzles.
Favorite things.
Let's take a break to thank Renew Nation, the sponsor of this podcast. If you've benefited from the Gospel Shaped Family Podcast, consider making a tax-deductible donation to Renew Nation today. Your generous donations make this podcast and our work to help children develop a biblical worldview possible. If you've enjoyed the episode, you can support us by leaving a review. This helps the podcast grow and reach more families. Now back to the show.
Okay, well, let's jump back to crushes.
Yep.
And let's talk about some of the things that you should definitely talk to your kids about if the crush topic is coming up. So if you're hearing this at school, or, you know, coming home from school, or even in your homeschool group, or after youth group, or in any scenario, and you'll hear from your kids like, oh, did you hear what so-and-so had to say? You know, there might be, then even if your child isn't like, I have a crush on so-and-so, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear
or who their friends have.
Oh, yeah, you'll hear all the friends. Yeah.
So three big areas that it's helpful just to kind of keep these in mind and kind of weave them in. You don't need to have the bullet points.
It does not need to be a sit-down lecture.
Just, I think with our kids, we want them to first know crushes are just normal. Mm-hmm. Attraction's a normal part of growing up. It's kind of the first step of a natural progression towards a marriage. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes it's unhelpful early on if kids get caught off guard by this, and there's the unexpected feelings, warm fuzzies. They begin to think something, and then they don't really have an outlet to talk about that. And so then it kind of becomes this awkward, secretive thing that happens, and they just need to know that, they're not growing a tail. They're not going to start howling at the moon. It's just kind of, that's the natural progression. And so first thing we do, let's just have that conversation with our kids that that's just kind of the normal state of progression as you move into this phase of growing up, of life.
Yeah. I would say another one we talk about is that having a crush is like that first step. It's that first like signal in your heart that you will someday want to be married, that someday that you're going to want to have a husband or a wife. And that's a really good thing. It's a great thing that your child would someday want to be married. So it's an indicator in their heart that they like have the ability to love on a deeper level and see people for who they are. And so a childhood crush just points towards like a biblical truth that God has given us marriage for something to bless others by. And so it's just a norm for people. So helping them understand that it's just a good thing. It's a good thing. Like, it's a great thing that you have a crush, because it means that someday it means you want to be married. Wow. You are going to be an amazing husband someday. You are going to be an amazing wife someday. What is that going to be like? Let's talk about that. Let's brainstorm that. And so it's just a picture of something a little bit bigger. Proverbs 25 says, the purpose in a man's heart is like a deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. So we want to help our children find understanding about what is going on in their heart and what does God have as a plan for them.
Yeah. So crushes are really they're a heart deep desire for marriage, and so we, if kids are finding others attractive, it's helpful just to even let them know that really is a craving for marriage, because that's the intended outcome that God has for it. And that just is a nice realization sometimes for a child to be thinking, oh, I'm actually, my deep desire isn't just for this attractive person. It's actually for the God-designed process of marriage that he's created for us to be a part of, this innate desire. And, if the Bible's true, if it's not good for man to be alone, that it makes sense that God would just instill this in the hearts and the minds of children. And it's like clockwork as kids start to get older and the biological processes happen in their body. God's kind of baked that in. And I will add that, if Proverbs teaches us anything about adolescents, about teenagers, it's that they often desire the wrong things. And so this can be true of desiring the wrong kind of person as well. And so it becomes really helpful knowing the type of individual whom our children find attractive, and then helping guide our children's affection towards individuals who love Jesus and are inwardly beautiful. Sometimes our kids choose bad friends. Sometimes they decide to be around the wrong kinds of people.
That's true.
We can, with a friendship, it's one thing. With a marriage or a dating relationship, potentially it's another entirely. And so, Proverbs, it's real helpful to recognize we want to help guide them to the right kinds of people. So that's the first two. Crush is a heart deep craving for marriage, and it's a normal thing. And then the third one we want to talk about is that crushes our feelings, and feelings are really mishandled by our culture today.
They are.
In the sense that they make a great servant, but they're not a great master, and they are meant to inform us that something is happening inside our heart, but they're not meant to be blindly acted upon. And so, of course, our kids are told all kinds of things. Follow your heart.
Follow your heart.
Feelings essentially our kids are told that feelings are the guide.
Yeah.
And there's
trust your feelings, Luke.
Trust your. Yeah, there you go.
The boys are even told that.
Yes. Yes. And so we just need to help our kids navigate the whole feelings side of things, and warn them not to be intoxicated with infatuation. That really crushes they're a temporary thing. They're kind of like a relational glue that starts a process, and then deeper, more lasting kinds of things holds and moves that marriage relationship, potential marriage forward. And so, if it feels right, how can it be so wrong? That's what our kids, that's what they're told. That's obviously not correct.
It comes from so many places too, that message.
Yes, it does. So when children begin to have feelings for someone else, these feelings need to obviously be run through the grid of God's word, and they need to be they need to work with godly counselors, us as parents, and so if we're not having the regular conversations with our kids, we're not able to help navigate the decisions in this area in their life.
Yeah. And I would say this is one of those areas where, if you're not already having open and honest conversations about just everyday life, right? Just like basic life communication things, then it's going to be more difficult to have these conversations. So keep the conversations going. Keep them going about little things and big things, even from when your kids are young. And it just makes a bridge for having conversations about things that are maybe a little bit more sticky.
How has this conversation come up with you and any of our kids? Like what generated that conversation today?
Today?
Yeah.
We were talking about a girl who has a crush on a boy, and it's kind of like a newer crush. And I said, well, what do you think? Do you feel like that boy, would, be a good match in the future. That was kind of how I broached it. So what do you see? What are you seeing? Like, do you see this person as being ambitious and a hard worker? Does he really love Jesus? How do you know that? Do you think she's thinking about those things? And so I find that the girls especially are very chatty about boys and relationships. Even our boys have been pretty open about that stuff.
I'd say so.
I would say we've had situations with our kids where one of our girls has had really good friends who are boys, that we've had boys out to the farm to, and they're like in 3rd grade, and, it's Emily. Emily's an adventurer. She loves to be outdoors. She loves to hike and climb and dig and like get dirty, and
she went snowboarding today when it was 10 below outside on our property. It's
loves
like
being outside. She's just a wildcat sometimes. And so she's had boys. She still has a couple of boys that she just loves playing with. Like they come here and they are just like pedal to the metal, like playing outside. And she has said to me before, like, people say that I have a crush on him, but I don't. Like, we're just friends and we're building forts, and like, so yeah, we just talk all the time, and I ask a lot of questions. How does that make you feel? Same line of discussion. Well, do you think that he could, like he could be a great guy to like be a husband someday? What do you know about him in 3rd grade and 4th grade and now 5th grade? What are you seeing? Does he respect his parents? Is he kind to everyone around him? Well, if not, that's trouble. So anyways, it's a lot of conversations about the crushes. Do you have a crush? Do you not have a crush?
And our kids have not dated at this point at all, in high school at all. And that we've never like said you can't.
No.
But if they know that the purpose of dating is marriage, then if you're not at that point and you don't find the person that you legitimately think this could be a future husband or wife, then there's no point.
Yeah,
so
we haven't had that.
No, we haven't needed. They have self-discerned as we've had these conversations.
They have had really good discernment. It's been fun to see. It's been fun to see them say like, maybe not, or I'm going to pump the brakes on this. And yeah. So they've done a great job with that. But it's a lot of chatting in the car. I think we live like a ways, away from everywhere. So I stay in the car because, we're all cozied in there. But like, we're all together. It's not like I'm one-on-one with the kids and then they're like quietly opening up. Like there's like group discussion about crushes and boys and girls and all the things. And we do Valentine's stuff, making Valentines. We've hosted a lot of Valentine parties. But we also talk about, like godly friendships at this time of year. And what does it mean to love others well? And to just be in healthy relationship with one another. But yeah, we've had a lot of talks.
Good. Okay. Well, so that's just an encouragement. If this isn't something that's happening with your kids at all, or maybe on a regular occurrence, that maybe start to plant those seeds and ask some of those little curiosity questions.
Ask the questions. You'll get answers. And my guess is that your kids will love talking about this stuff. I feel like ours love talking about it.
Yeah.
So ask the questions, have the conversations, and this will be smooth sailing.
Hopefully. Because relationships, there's never any challenge.
Never.
All right. Well, that ends it for today.
That's it for today. Thanks for hanging out.
And we'll see you next time.
You're listening to the Biblical Family Network.
Hey, I'm Miki.
And I'm Will.
And we're the co-hosts of the Culture Proof Podcast. We want to invite you to join us every week as we discuss what's happening in the world and then filter those happenings through a decidedly biblical lens.
There are many questions, especially when we see what's happening in our culture today, but the answers are found within the Word of God. So that's where we want to look.
Amen. When we resist those cultural trends that rival the truth,
we remain culture proof.
Thank you for listening to the Gospel Shape Family Podcast. Please share this episode and give us a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcasts.